41% of marriage couples have experienced infidelity, and only 30% of those married couples survive that infidelity.
Instead of revenge cheating, should the person who got caught be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I really messed up, so maybe you need to go out and do you for a little bit.
Me saying like, listen, you do what you do, I do what I do, but we're gonna come home to try to keep the family dynamic in front of the eyes of our children, even though we're not together.
The only way most open relationships work is that both people are on the same page, and this is the lifestyle that they want for each other.
What's going on, everybody? It's Rico at 8 at the Table, and you know we talk about everything that gets spicy.
That's right.
So speaking of spicy, Bashan, right?
Always gotta start with me, huh?
Especially with this one, right? Because like I have some questions about marriage, and I know that you had a marriage and it didn't go as planned.
Mm-hmm. Good way of putting it.
Yeah, I tried to, it didn't go as planned.
That's right.
But I have a question in terms of maybe, possibly, if it's gonna be a little personal, but just bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that if you and your wife would have tried or exercised maybe like some type of open relationship, or ex-wife I should say, exercise some type of open relationship, you could have possibly, kept the family together for the family, or possibly saved the marriage?
So you asking me if me and her elected to have a open marriage, saying, in other words, me saying like, listen, you do what you do, I do what I do, but we're gonna come home to try to keep the family dynamic in front of the eyes of our children, even though we're not together. If you're gonna go away for a weekend, let me know. If I'm gonna go to a weekend, I'm gonna let you know. And just try to do it for the family. Would have prolonged it? Probably. I think probably. Would I would have dealt with that? No. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. Like, would it prolong it? Yes. I'm not. Yes, because obviously it's like. But however, and me, I can't speak for anyone else. I wouldn't been able to. Well, I could cope with anything. However, I wouldn't want to cope with me having a wife. Mm-hmm. And me knowing, and I put my wife on the market, and we just coming back in the house, faking in front of the girls and the whole. And maybe that aspect,
not faking though. Like, don't think an open relationship is faking your intimacy or faking your love for that person. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You and your wife having open, sexual ventures outside of each other, that does not, dictate that you two don't really love each other at all.
Right.
Or you're faking it for your kids. It's just maybe, let's just say, because let me ask you a question. What age did you get married?
26, 27.
So that's a young man. Mm-hmm. As a young man at 26 and 27 years old, and I'm 28 and I'm not married, right? Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure there's been times where you felt like you might want to step outside your marriage, right? And maybe your ex-wife at that age might have thought the same, mm-hmm. for certain situations, mm-hmm. not all the time. So what I'm saying is maybe you two go out and live life a little bit as well, but still keep your marriage intact is a possibility.
That's a good way of putting it. However, the reason why I have to say it's faking.
Can I add something? Just to give it another level, another layer. So we know when a person, when partners or spouses get divorced, you're impacted not only by, separating your family, your kids or whatever, separating from your spouse, potentially moving out of your family home, having to divide resources, having to pay lawyers to divide the resources, to divide the family. So on top of what he's saying, as far as like having your interactions with other people, would it have benefited you to stay so that you can continue consolidating resources with your ex-wife, continue to have, more money to spread out, between your children? Because let's say both y'all worked, you only had one mortgage. But now there's 2 mortgages or 2 rents or whatever, and everybody's going to be spread just a little more thinly, because the finances are not the same anymore.
And again, which is why in the beginning I said, would it prolong it? Would it prolong us getting a divorce? Yes, because those are the those are the way of trying to cope with having an open marriage. But the reason why I use the term faking is because I'm not comfortable with it. So I will be faking it out. And I think that, and also, I can't speak for her, but would assume, me knowing her from us being together for over 13 years, that she would be faking it as well. So I think that eventually will translate into the household. And the reason being is because I need my household to be in peace. I need peace in my household, not other men's thoughts in my household. So now she will be dealing with another man. She will be, to a degree, influenced by another man. Mm-hmm. And now this other man is underhandedly, secretly dictating certain things with that because if it's 50-50, her point will be coming at this point now is like, she will be hitting me with things that I know is not from her, but someone is then influence her. So at the end of the day, these is more problems that will happen in a relationship, which is or even in our dynamic in the household. And I don't need that to be in my household. If you're gonna do that, it's gonna be in your household, underneath your roof.
I get that.
And I'm not involved.
I have a question for you, right? Just follow me for a second.
I'm listening.
In a very general, vague way, right? Why did you and your ex-wife spread?
I got broad shoulders. I put it on me because I quit.
Okay, why did you quit?
I mean, that now it would be putting me in a position of talking about some things that is not that I would have to bring in reality. Okay. I don't want it to sound one-sided.
Let me ask you this question.
But just for like this, this is the best way I'm gonna say it. This is the best way I'm gonna say it. I did things prior to my marriage that came back to haunt me. So when I got married.
So now, and this is what I was gonna ask: was that in any way, shape, or form, or was there in any way, shape, or form infidelity on both ends of the aspect?
Definitely.
Okay. Did y'all both know about this?
All right, so just to be clear, and I think that just to be fair, so, before we got married, we both cheated on each other, right?
So you were almost in an open relationship,
right? Not knowingly though, right? But it was, it was not knowingly, because I didn't know that she was cheating on me.
She didn't know that you were cheating on her.
No, she didn't for the most part. I'm just say that.
Yeah.
It was towards it was when she found out is when I came clean and says, I'm not lying no more. This is the person who I was dealing with, X, Y, Z, this, and the third. And I never told her a lie about if I was dealing with any other woman, ever.
My thing is this, right? Here's where I'm going with this. Because to me, and I don't know the real specifics, but just, hearing it, you kind of both were already in an open relationship unknowingly on both aspects, since you were both cheating on each other. Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing is that you were willing to be in an open relationship on your side, right?
No, I was in
a sense where you were cheating.
But prior to marriage, I did not care as much. See, once you become committed in a marriage, it's totally different. So my feelings and everything, the way how I approached it was different. We had a heart to heart and said we won't do this X, Y, and Z ever again on both parties.
Yeah, but that's who you both were. Yeah. You both have been that person since both. Things can always change in the commitment levels, and I won't say that it doesn't, right? But what I will say is at the same time, you gotta accept each other for who each other are.
But can you hold up, Rico? Was that me? Because when I got married, I did not cheat.
No, but it was in a sense because that you cheated all the way up until marriage. She cheated all the way up until marriage.
Let me help you explain. I'm gonna help you out. So what he's saying is that, and I said this before, you're single until you're married, right? So Ra was taking the exact same approach. So when he realized, yo, I'm going to marry this woman, I'm going to commit to her, I'm going to forsake everybody else, and I'm going to be true to that pursuit. And while before he was married, you know what I'm saying, he was doing his thing.
The bachelor.
He kind of, a mind switch, and he was committed to that. But apparently, I guess your ex-wife, wasn't expecting, you to just kind of flip a switch like that.
A genuine change.
But I'm gonna say this real quick. I think that the way how our open marriage work is if both parties started off understanding how they are to each other. So this situation, they cheated on each other. This is a monogamous relationship that two people were cheating on each other. So they were being dysfunctional before the marriage and got into the marriage, and he tried to change and she didn't change. So they didn't have the common ground towards it.
In the best of manners, you're right. Go ahead, T.
So they didn't have a common ground where they came into a marriage where they're like, we have an open relationship. The only way most open relationships work is that both people are on the same page, and this is the lifestyle that they want for each other. You can't go into a marriage now. Yeah, divorce happened and, it might be at the door, but if you want an open situation, both people have to agree to say, hey, 100%. I'm not feeling you no more, but we got all these bills, we got each other together, and then they'll decide to come to grounds on that term. But it doesn't work when two people are like this at each other, and then you're like, okay, you open, you're gonna feel as the man funny about having a woman being influenced outside of your relationship. No man wanna deal with that, especially if he didn't sign up for it.
Can we put some terms on it? So what we're saying is that you have consensual monogamy and you have non-consensual monogamy.
Yes.
So when you're cheating and being intimate with somebody else, it's non-consensual monogamy.
Right.
Yes.
Because the other party, obviously, there's no meeting of the minds. They're not on the same page.
Yes. I think it's hard for a man to accept that his woman is seeing another man in a relationship. But I think if he's at a place where he's no longer, feeling like he's in love, but he know he could lose so much, they come to a common ground, it can work. If both parties come to the common ground of understanding what they want for each other, it can work. I do know someone that's living that full life. They had they've been together from they were 14 years old, and as they got older, she kind of got interested in somebody outside of the relationship. He found out, and he was very upset about it. But they didn't want to break up. They have 5 children together. They have a house. They have their careers together, and they didn't want to break up. So what they did, he slept on the couch. She slept in the bedroom for about 6 years. They they separated from each other. And
on the couch?
Yeah, on the couch. I would go to the house and I'm like, girl, where he? Okay. And she's like, that's where he sleeps. But I used to ask her, are y'all sleeping together? Are y'all having? She said from time to time when she gets a little, she goes to him. Long story short, he got sick one day on the job, real bad. And I used to tell her, stop playing around. You're gonna lose your husband. Both of y'all are playing with each other. Anyway, he got sick and she had to put him in the bedroom with her. When she put him in the bedroom, they fell back in love because she realized, this is my life. So this is what taught me that marriage is up and down. You do fall in and out of love.
There you go.
So when I saw that my girlfriend was able to take her husband back, and right now they do everything together. But I remember the first couple of years in their marriage, they were separated in that house. He was dating whoever and she was doing whatever. And I used to be so upset with her, like, what do you do when you got a good man? Because I was looking at the part that he took care of home. But they just did not love each other anymore. So when I saw years later now that I see that she and him is going on trips together, they're doing everything back together. So I do believe that sometimes it can work. You can go into a deep relationship and you do fall out of love. You do not like your partners. And I think a lot of people don't understand that marriage do take fight for it to work. People expect it to be rainbow. It's not going to be rainbow. So she taught me that. Seeing how she handled her marriage taught me that.
And I mean, honestly, this is what I always say too, because I feel like I'm not married right now, right? But I also understand that the traditional concept of marriage is almost unrealistic in today's world. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I personally feel like because the amount of experiences that are susceptible, or no, not susceptible, but obtainable. The amount of experiences are so obtainable now. Before, most people never traveled in their life. Okay. Now, kids can travel from 21 up. and kids have the funds to travel. You know what I'm saying? So if you marry, let's say 25, 26 years old, like Rashawn did, but y'all, but prior to that, the first 4 or 5 years that y'all were together, y'all were cheating on each other.
10 years.
It was 10 years. You feel me? But and he's a part, and don't let him fool y'all. He's very close to my generation. So he's a part of that generation that has that obtainability of all of these experiences. And then, you know, women nowadays are not so much as being shut down as they were in 1950.
Independent on the man.
Yeah, like women are saying, I could go on a girls trip, and if I do something on my girls trip, I do something on my girls trip. So like it's really honestly like what I'm trying to say is I personally believe that, similar to what you're saying, that you're gonna have fallouts in your marriage, and sometimes it takes for me to say, hey, you know what? Go out and enjoy yourself. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna take for the woman to tell the man, go out and enjoy yourself. But if y'all are committed to the actual marriage, that's what y'all might need to get over that hump.
I have a question, and it just kind of sparked this when you said go out and enjoy yourself. So does that mean, so if a wife cheats on a husband cheats on a wife, and it comes to light, instead of revenge cheating, should the person who got caught be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I really messed up. I know you, so maybe you need to go out and do you for a little bit until you feel like you can come back to the marriage and not have regret, not have shame, not have embarrassment, and not have feelings of like you was played when you was doing right and I wasn't.
If I had to say, I'm gonna let you go right after this.
I have too much ego to handle that.
No, wait, what? If I cheated on my girl, and you know what? We actually have the film from 4 years ago. Alan said this in my audition. This was one of my audition questions. If I cheated on my girl, and my girl found out.
I seen that.
Right? If I cheated on my girl and she found out and she said, now I want to step out, I got to wear that. Because at the end of the day, more often than not, I personally believe that let's say if I cheat on you, let's say we're dating, I cheat on you, you find out, you said, now you want to go cheat or you want to step out, and I say, okay, you might not even go. Because revenge cheating is usually done to get back at the person, but if the person is open-minded to it, you might not go and exercise that right.
But I'm going to say this. You're saying 4 years ago you said that, right? And you're where you're at now. You have children and a house and all that together? That shit goes out the window. Your wife is getting fucked by another man. It's not going to be cool.
Now listen, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be hard. Right?
You wouldn't be able to say the same thing.
I was listen. You know, I don't know the right and wrong. Well, I'm not here to say what's right and what's wrong. I'm not with that.
So you'd rather her just dip out?
I'd rather you leave me.
Even though you were wrong.
The ultimate consequence, if you feel like you need to go have sex with another man, and I'm not going to say feel because you got urges. I'm not the person who took your virginity. You probably think about other men here and there. So, but if you think that you need, in order for you to stay in this relationship or this marriage, to go have sex with another man, leave me. What you're not going to do it, and what I'm not going to do is count your wrongs and say, oh, well, since you do this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
But listen, that's an 80-20 though.
Listen, what is that 80?
So the thing is
talk to me.
So the woman still wants to stay, but she was like, she's like, he had a chance to go like enjoy the spice of life. I may not want it right now, but I want the opportunity when I feel like it's available to me.
But the reality,
it may not be revenge. It may just be like, you know what?
I'm gonna take your credit cards.
Can I? But hey, I'm about to say, listen, let me just say this. Hov said it best. Y'all had to buy a bag. I had to change the weather. It's other ways of making to get back at me. Mm-hmm. Let me just say this. I'm never listen. Let me
bring up that relationship.
Listen, let me say
bring
this.
Bring up that relationship. No, there was something that was done in revenge on both ends.
Listen, I just want to say this.
And they're still together.
I'm never okay. I'm never going to be okay, or never given the stamp of saying, you know what, just go have sex with another man.
All right. So more of the story. What I'm going to say is this: Everybody needs to be honest with themselves and honest with their relationship and what is actually happening within a relationship. I just found out that 41% of marriage couples have experienced infidelity, whether it be emotional or physical, and only 30% of those married couples survive that infidelity. So with that being said, maybe if being honest with yourself and your partner's needs, right, y'all might be able to, save your relationship and save your family if you just accept what it is.